welcome back to the channel, friends. As always, man, I'm stoked to see you. I'm doing pretty stinking good. I gotta tell you, I hope you all are doing well. Either way, let me know down in the comments below how well or how well off you are not doing. And we look forward to just keeping the conversation rolling and keeping things real. So recently did a video, if you recall, on kind of a macro view of how to select a cabin, a retreat, or a bug out location. And had a lot of really good comments that were generated and spurned from it, and a lot of it generated off of the idea of bugging in versus bugging out. So that's what we're gonna break down. Which way is the best way to go? Coming up. Hey, that's what this channel is all about, right? It's all about fieldcraft. It's all about tactical virtue. So if that's what you're into as well, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you can stay up to date on future content. So first off, let's break down a couple of the big differences and similarities between bugging in and bugging out. Right, there are pros and cons to both scenarios. And of course, the situation dictates almost everything that we do, right? Almost everything that we do. Truth be told, it dictates everything that we do. But what are some things that we need to consider? I think the first one is that we need to consider to go ahead and bug in, right? Because odds are that is the most likely scenario you're going to find yourself in. Think about it, friends. Millions of people every single year have to bug inside their homes because of natural disasters. I have an awesome cameraman who's helping me out. Riggs, he's in the background. You can't see him. He's off scene, and he's trying to move some things around and get some attention. Hey, bud, come on. You're fine. As we're going, man, I would love to hear your comments down below. We just continue to spark conversation and to learn from each other. Because every time I look down and start responding to you guys, there's so much depth of history and context that you all bring to the table. And I know I certainly appreciate it. So let's keep that rolling. So millions of people, friends, every single year bug in, right? Hurricanes, natural disasters, electricity going out. There are thousands of scenarios that happen day in and day out. Trees falling and busting things open and all kinds of events that are happening. And I think this is what we need to prepare for first, right? Prepare for the most likely scenario to come up first. If this is what we are not doing, we are deceiving ourselves and putting eggs in baskets that we don't actually have in our hands, right? Prepare for the most likely case first. 24, 48 hours, no electricity. Can you handle that where you're at? Because odds are you're going to encounter that this year. In the next 365 days, odds are you're going to go 24 to 72 hours without electricity. For whatever reason, right? For whatever reason. Maybe it was a fire that was local that took out a power transmission line. Maybe it was a snowpack that weighed too heavy on the lines and took them out. Maybe it was a hurricane that came in and destroyed some infrastructure. You don't have to think about the worst case scenario, right? The apocalyptic scenario, right? You don't have to keep your eyes focused on that, right? Because there are way more scenarios than we can shake our stick at that we're more than likely to encounter besides some post-apocalyptic scenario. And I know that recent events throughout this year want to focus our attention and tunnelize us, right? Get us very myopic, pushing us more out to the fringe, and it's keeping us in line with what they want us to believe and to know. Between all of the recent events from this year, friends, you could name them off yourself. But man, winter's coming. And so we need to be prepared to bug in. So how can you handle no electricity in your own house right now? How could you handle no heat in your own house right now? How could you handle the water being turned off in your own house right now? Forget going somewhere, right? If I tried to go get on I-5 right now, it's going to get shut down. If there's any kind of disaster that's going on, any kind of civil unrest, I-5 is completely shut down. It locks down with a single vehicular accident. What's going to happen in an SHTF moment? I'm not going anywhere, friends. And this is exactly what a lot of the comments were generated on, man. The likelihood of you being able to get out to a remote location is slim to nil. So I was talking to another friend, local, Tony Hildebrand, and he's talking about being able to get off to a particular area that he likes, closer to Hamahama area. Hamamama, I like to call it. And I said, man, that's a great location to get to. There's a lot of natural resources there. And should such an event arise that you need to get out that way, consider going west around Capital State Forest as opposed to trying to make your way through Olympia. Because I can't imagine what that scenario would be like. But are there some scenarios where bugging out or having a retreat, it comes in handy? Yes, absolutely, man. Now, I would submit to you that a location off of a major paved road is probably a better location than none. Maybe you're up and tucked in the hills. Maybe it's not too far away from your house, right? Because you got to think about security from your house, wherever it is that you're trying to go. And so there's a lot to consider there, right? Because you can imagine the infrastructure with the roads and the people that you're going to encounter on the roads and people abandoning their vehicles to try to get out to someplace in a worst case scenario. But having a nice retreat, a spot that you can go camp on, just disconnect, from cut off technology, right? Cut the cord, get out to some place where it can just be you, Mother Nature, your friends and your family, and enjoy yourself. That's most likely case, and that is the best case, right? Is having a place that you can get off to. So I highly encourage you to get out and to explore new areas. It doesn't have to be property that you personally own, but go find the spot. Go find that retreat. Go do some dispersed camping. Get off grid, right? And start to rehearse, start to test yourself. How can you do without anything for 24 hours? What kind of shelter can you make, right? How are you going to be able to forage for food? Go out and just start taking copious notes of what you find. Get some books for your local area and learn more about natural resources that you have, about the habitat that is surrounding you. Learn more about bugs. Learn more about small critters, right? Learn more about trapping. Learn more about fishing. Learn more about foraging. Learn more about the trees and the plants and the weeds that are in your area right now. Because you need to. How are you going to take care of water, right? If a natural disaster is approaching, having grown up and lived through a lot of hurricane scenarios and typhoons, learn early on to do simple things like filling the tub with water, right? Well, why did we do that? It wasn't to drink from. It was to be able to flush the dadgum toilet, right? Now here where I'm at, I'm on a well. So should my local power go out, I do have some backup generator that I can run the well house with. But I can't run off of that forever, so I need to think about how I'm going to get additional resources. How much fuel do I want on hand on a day-to-day basis? How am I going to rotate my stock? How am I going to go out and get more fuel should I need it? Lot to consider, right? Either way that you look at this, you need to make yourself a good, couple areas of circumference, right? You need to have whatever your green zone is, you need to establish and to know what that is and what that means to you, right? The area, the circumference, the diameter around your spot that is safe. You can move about safely and freely without concern for harm to yourself or to your loved ones. Maybe it is just your neighborhood, but how many people do you know in your neighborhood right now? If you're in a little bit more of a rural area, how many of your neighbors do you know up and down the road? Maybe people are on larger sections of property, 5-acre, sections. How many have you gone and talked to? Because if you're not doing that, and you think that you're gonna, after it hits the fan, that's when you're gonna figure it all out. Man, you're smoking crack. Listen to me, my friends. Man, we have to do better than that. You have to know the people around you. If you do own property that you're hoping to be able to get out to, you have to do the same thing, man. You have to know what that green zone is and establish your own perimeters. Make yourself around and introduce yourself, right? Be neighborly. Get to know one another and build community. Because it is in community that should a natural disaster or a man-made disaster encounter us face to face, it's going to be in and through community that you get through it. I don't care if it's just 24 hours or if it's, an entire month or if it's forever. Hey, let me know what you think down in the comments below. We will just keep this conversation rolling. Again, if you enjoyed the content of it, make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you can stay up to date on some future content. And as always, until then, man, I appreciate you guys. You stay out there and you stay stoked.